Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here. This is a video I've wanted to do for a while, and a lot of people have asked about it, like doing an overview of my entire horror collection. What I'm going to do is do like I've done before when I show like my entire collection, but I'm going to go through them, try and go pretty slow through it, so I'm not sure how long this video will be. But I'm going to try and go pretty slow, and then take out a couple ones and say a couple things about a few of them. Not tons of detail, but just try and say a little bit of stuff about them. Okay, now some good ones down here. April Fool's Day was a pretty cool one. Then there's a couple of these still that are on Blu-ray that I have to upgrade. Like I've been doing little by little, like upgrading to, Blu-rays for ones if I haven't had them. This is a really good one. A lot of people ask me about Anatomy, about a group of these medical students. It's a German film, and, basically if you've seen those exhibits about, like, plastinization, where it's like a body that's kind of been turned into, like, they kind of, like, freeze and almost, like, freeze-dry the body, and you can see, like, the insides and stuff. This is basically about a school where they're doing this, like, they're basically killing the students and stuff like that, and doing that, and turning them into this. The sequel, is actually a pretty decent sequel. ATM's a really good one. This one a lot of people ask about too, All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. This never actually came out in America. This is the British version. But as far as I can tell, it seems to be region free. This is a really good one. Alice, Sweet Alice, and I've heard they're doing a remake of that one now. Let's see. Some of these still out on Blu-ray yet. I'm surprised that Bride, Re-Animator, and them are not out yet. Bad Ronald, I've talked about a lot. The TV movie about a kid that accidentally kills... he's kind of a kid that gets picked on, and he accidentally kills this girl. And he ends up hiding out in his house, and his mom basically walls off one of the rooms, and he lives in the house, and, he has to hide in there, and it's really pretty creepy. And what ends up happening to the mom, and ultimately, what happens to him in this house is pretty cool. It's a very good one if you haven't seen it. Of course, Black Christmas, and then the Black Christmas, remake, and I kind of just bought that because the DVD is, like, kind of hard to get. I mean, the Blu-ray's hard to get. It's not very good, though. The Blair Witch Films, Body Bags. This is one, if you can come across it, it's out of print, but it's a really pretty good anthology movie. It's basically mainly by Tobe Hooper and John Carpenter. And the best segment on here was the one at the gas station with Robert Carradine, or the one from Revenge of the Nerds. That was a really good one. The Burning is another good one that I hope at some point comes to Blu-ray. Blue Sunshine is another really pretty good one that is from Jeff Lieberman, who did Just Before Dawn and Squirm and a number of ones. It was a really pretty good one about the people that used LSD in I think the 60s, and after many years they're having kind of acid flashbacks, and it's making them go crazy, and their hair is falling out, and they're basically just going insane. The Child's Play films, surprisingly too, there are other ones that are not on Blu-ray. Only the first one's on Blu-ray. Part 2 and 3 are not out yet, neither with Bride. Seed of Chucky's out on a Canadian Blu-ray, so at some point I've got to get that. But I kind of am sort of waiting until they, come to Blu-ray. Like Candyman's still not on Blu-ray. The Children of the Corn film's down there. Cabin Fever 2, I really like Cabin Fever 2. Got very mixed reviews, but I really enjoyed it. And I have the light on, and I think it's kind of helping a little bit, so you can see the things a little bit better than you could in some of the other videos. The C.h.u.d film, that's a really pretty good one. Like, the sequels, Cube Zero was okay, but Cube Hypercube, that one wasn't great. The first Cube, though, about a group of these people that end up waking up in this kind of cube thing, and they don't know why they're there, and they have to try and find a way out if they go into the wrong rooms. There's kind of traps that kill them. Cannibal Holocaust, it's a very good one. I don't love the animal stuff in that, but as a movie, it is very, very well done. The Collection is a really good one. I'm really looking forward to seeing the new one, the Collectors, the original. The Collection is the new one. Crawl Space is one I talk about a lot. That's a really pretty cool one about a couple, like this old couple that never had kids, and a guy comes to work on the house, and they kind of just think nothing of it. And then a couple days later, they start hearing things down in the basement, and it's basically the guy's like living down there, and he's like homeless and sort of living in their crawl space, and they kind of are real lonely, and they kind of invite him in their house and are giving him food and letting him still live down the crawl space, even though they say you can come in the house. He's kind of wants to be down there. The Decoys movies, I kind of like them. They're not like perfect movies. The Decoys 2 is directed by Jeffrey Lando, who directed Haunted High, which I'm in. The Dawn of the Dead films, and I keep kind of every edition of this like that I think I've ever had, like the original DVD, and then the special edition set that has the director's cut, and the Blu-rays. Kind of put all those together. It took a long time to get this in any type of order. The Deadly Bees, that was kind of a pretty cool killer bee film from the 60s. Like, it's got a real fun cheesiness with the bees. I kind of have always liked that one. Death Ship is coming out soon. By the time you see this, if you're watching this later, it's probably already out. It's coming to Blu-ray soon. And then Demons 2 and 3 is a really good one. It still isn't out on Blu-ray in America. But the first one was that people at the movie theaters, and, the demons take over the theaters. The second one was in an apartment complex. And the Demons 3, The Org, that one's okay. It had kind of cool music. End of the Line is a really good one that you don't hear people talk about too much. For the director of the movie Slashers. And it's basically about, this group of these religious people on a subway end up, there's like a power goes out or something, and they end up starting to, like, coming after people. Really pretty cool one. And then all the Friday the 13th, and only part 1 through 3 are on Blu-ray so far, so I still have the set. And then the Final Destinations. Now this 555 is like a bootleg from a convention. There is an official DVD that came out, but it's very, very limited. The Fortress films. The second one wasn't very good. The first one was really pretty cool, about a guy in jail, and his girlfriend was in jail too, and them trying to get out. Now this is one thing I really regret is, I remember seeing the Fright Night Blu-ray that came out that was very limited, and I saw it for $29.99, and I was like, yeah, that's a little much, just before I knew how limited it was in the very beginning. I'm like, I don't really like paying that much for a catalog title. Now it's like $200. This is a bootleg of the sequel. I do wish I had the actual release version of it. Hopefully you guys can see this a little bit better than before. Sorry, there's like a bit of a shadow. Now the Ghoulies thing, there's all the Ghoulies films. The Hostel, I liked Hostel 2. Kind of got mixed reviews. Now I have all the Halloweens here that are out. I have the original one on DVD as well as the Blu-ray version, and Halloween 2. This Universal one has the documentary about horror films from the 80s. That's the main reason for keeping this one. And then the Shout Factory 2, Part 3. And for some reason I'm just keeping the Good Times edition, because, I don't know, I used to always like Good Times. Like, they used to put out all the Universal stuff that, at the time, Universal didn't want to put out. And then Halloween 4 and 5, and then all the other ones. And all the Hellraiser films. Island of Dr. Moreau down there. That's a really good one. I Drink Your Blood. And then I just got I Spit on Your Grave 2-pack. It's real cheap. I don't know if they still have it at Best Buy, but it's very cheap there. Because I didn't have the first one on Blu-ray, only the second. And it's crazy. I remember buying not the remake one. I remember buying the remake when it first came out at Best Buy for like $30. And I'm thinking back like, oh, jeez. The Innkeepers, that's a really cool haunted house film from Ty West. And then Jaws. And they were going to be putting out Jaws 2 and 3 on Blu-ray. And then, for some reason, ended up canceling it. And Part 3 was going to come out on 3D Blu-ray. I was really looking forward to that. And I don't know what ended up happening with that. I hope at some point they end up still putting it out. And the Last House on the Left. And, this is the original one. And I have the Blu-ray of the original, the Blu-ray of the remake, the Leprechaun Films, which, it's a pain that these ones are in full screen. Like, all the editions of Leprechaun are still full screen. Hopefully at some point they put Blu-rays of these out. The Lost Boys movie, the only really good one is the first. The second one really wasn't great, and they, I wish they would have used Corey Haim more. I know he was having problems then. Corey Haim is one of those actors I really do miss. Monkey Shines is one I hope hits Blu-ray sometime soon. I saw Martyrs is out on Blu-ray, but I think it's a import. That's a really pretty twisted movie. The Mimic Films. This is a really crazy, weird one. Mr. Ice Cream Man. Really cheesy. It was like one of the, there's Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard, and then there's this really peculiar one. And like I said, I'm trying to show off some kind of ones that are the weird ones too, because a lot of ones people know. The Mad Butcher. That was a pretty weird one about a guy who opened up a meat shop. And he was eating him. The guy eating people, serving them people. He was from the Baby Jane film. This is another one you don't hear much about. One of early Jodie Foster film, Little Girl Lives Down the Lane. That was a really cool one if you haven't seen that. Another one too, Night Flyer. And I love the lead in this movie. He's been in a bunch of stuff, a lot of TV work and stuff. But this was like a guy in a plane that was going around killing people, and there were some really cool scenes in like the airport. Like every time I think of like airport movies, I think of this and The Langoliers. Night School. This is out on Burn on Demand. This is a pretty good one. Night of the Comet, which is one if you have not seen, that's like a must-see one. Right here, Night of the Comet. 976 Evil 2 is out on that Universal multi-pack set. And down there, I didn't know until recently that all the Omen films were out on Blu-ray, and they're all on this, or most of them. I think it's part 1 through 3 is in this set. The Office Killer, that's a pretty decent one. Popcorn, this was supposed to be coming out on a new edition, and then it never ended up. This is the one from Elite. That's a really pretty good movie. But I don't know what happened to the release of that. This is one, if you haven't seen it, I bought the import of it because I wanted to have it on Blu-ray. It's Perfume. That's a really pretty good one. And the guy who directed Perfume co-directed Cloud Atlas with the Wawinski brothers. And I liked Cloud Atlas. I know it's gotten some mixed reviews. Pet Sematary 2. Hopefully, down the line, Pet Sematary 2 ends up hitting Blu-ray. I liked Pet Sematary 2. People Under the Stairs is a really good Wes Craven one about this crazy family that has people that they kidnap and put them under the stairs, and it's a really pretty cool one. And this is like one of the few Pauly Shore movies. I think it's like one of the only Pauly Shore movies that was a horror movie called Phantom of the Mall. And if you like movies in malls, it's not by any means like amazing, but it's a pretty cool one that I don't think many people have seen. I think it was filmed in Sherman Oaks, which is totally changed now, though. And this is also another really good anthology horror film. The cover is kind of weird. They made it kind of look like the book, like a book kind of cover. It's okay, the cover, but it's a really pretty cool anthology film called Quicksilver Highway, and it's all kind of hosted by Christopher Lloyd. Quarantine Films. Rosemary's Baby, which just came to Blu-ray. I have to get all the other Recs. I only have the third one on DVD. I've done pretty good, though, with upgrading for most of the stuff. You know, of course, Return of the Living Dead, if you don't have that, is a must-have zombie film. Like, one of the best zombie films next to the George Romero films. You know, comedy zombie movie. Now, Return of the Living Dead 2 is out, but the only thing is with this is the damn music has changed because they didn't want to license it, or something happened. I don't know the whole story behind it, but it's changed around music. I ended up having to take the tape and making a copy of it just so I had the original music. Part 3 is good, but it's not the uncut one. Hopefully some point they release an uncensored version of that. Summer Camp Nightmare, that's a bootleg, but that's a really good one. And a lot of people don't love mixing all the horrors and the stuff together. I really like to have them all together like that. That's a really good one. About like this guy who's turning into a snake from this freak show attraction. You know, Savage Streets was a pretty good one. That was out of print for a while, but just came back out again. Same with the Silent Night, Deadly Nights, Part 1 and 2. They're expensive now, but they're coming back out again. Yeah, Society is another one that people ask me about a lot. That's a really good one. I think that's still out of print, though. Of course, the Scream movies. Gotta take this out because I just upgraded the Terror Train down there to the new one. I think that was in the wrong place too. Like it was in the S's. You know, sometimes they get a little mixed up. You know, this is the new Terror Train one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And the original one, you know, which is the best one. But I also kept, because I don't have too many of these steelbook things of the original film. And of course, I bought this one just because I like the cover, Troll, because it's the original cover, but I have Troll 2 on Blu-ray. Then I have the double pack of them. Ticks, that's a bootleg. That's still not out, surprisingly. And then finally, down here, though, Baby Jane. The Wrong Turn films. But anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching, guys. You know, like I said, I got a lot of people asking to do a video just going across, showing all the horror things. People see all the horror titles that I have. And, you know, I have, like, you know, there's all the comedies here. The TV shows are all up there. And then I have Blu-rays of it. The only section that I have mixed together is the horror. Like, that's the section I really put a lot of work into making sure I have pretty much, like, all the really good stuff. And then, you know, as you see, I probably have a lot of obscure, weird horror movies. I really love to find some of the weird stuff. But anyway, though, thanks a lot for watching, for subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.